Good afternoon, one and all. Today we are going to start the splicing of primary transcript. So, what is the meaning of splicing? After the transcription, we have the mRNA, but they are the pre-mRNA. They are called as a heterogeneous nuclear RNA, and they are immature. So before they have they are going for the translation, there is a need of modification that is called as a post-transcriptional modifications. So there are various types of post-transcriptional modification. In that we have 5' capping, 3' poly A tail, and splicing. So all these things are required in order to have the stability and also the maturity of the RNA. After formation of your primary RNA, they are not very stable. That's why we need to have all these modification. Now, what is the meaning of splicing? So, by definition, if you say, we can say that splicing means removal of the introns and addition of the all the exons of primary RNA in order to form the mature RNA, that is called as the splicing. Now, various types of splicing we are going to discuss. Before discussing about the various type of splicing, I want to tell you about the introns. So, what are the introns? Why they need to be deleted? Because they are having the non-coding sequences. Means they are not going to code for the any of the sense protein. That's why they should be removed. Earlier, the scientists they have said that this intron they are also called as a junk DNA. Earlier scientists have said that they don't have any role, they are the junk DNA, they should be removed from the genome. But with the discovery, with the new discovery, now it has been detected by many of the scientists that this junk DNA they also have some of the role. They have some of the role in one and another function. So either they have the role in the resistance or any other function. That's why they are not the junk DNA, but they have some of the function. Now you can see the slide here. First time introns they were discovered by E. Sharp and R. Robert in the year 1977, and they were awarded with the Nobel Prize in the year 1993. Now coming to the proof of what are the proof of intron, that how they are present in the mRNA. So there was the hybridization between DNA and RNA. In this diagram, you can see here there is a hybridization between the single stranded DNA and the mRNA. So here now this intron they are not going to pair with the any of the sequence in the DNA. That's why they are forming the loop. So here you can see 1, 2, and 3. All these loops they are formed by the introns. Introns 1, intron 2, and intron 3. All of them they have, because they are nothing to pair from the DNA. That's why they form the loop. So this was the experiment. This was done by the Sharp and Robert, and this was the basis that there was the existence of intron after this DNA RNA hybrid. Now, there are various types of splicing where we are going to see the how the introns are removed and exons are they are going to be joined with each other. So mainly we have two types of splicing. First is self splicing and second is protein mediated splicing. Now self splicing they have again been divided into another two types, by group 1 intron and by group 2 intron. Now we are going to see the type 1 intron. So here how type 1 intron they are going to be removed. So in this diagram you can see here we have two of the exon 1 and exon 2, and in between there is an intervening intron sequence. So first there is a formation of UA bond. There is a UA bond will be there. Now there is involvement of GTP. Now this GTP it is going to add one of the guanosyl group to this particular bond, and this UA bond they are going to change. And after addition of this G, the intron have the two of the boundary consist of GA in one side, 5' side, and G in another side, and they are going to be removed out. This intron consists of the GA on 5' end and G on another end. They are going to be removed out, and now there is a bonding of exon 1 and exon 2 with the shifting of bond between UA to UU. Earlier, there was bonding between U of exon and A of intron. So that was shifted to bonding between the U of exon 1 and U of exon 2. In this way, only type 1 intron work, and wherever there is a splicing by the type 1 intron mechanism, then this type of intron will be removed in this way. So here you can see here there is a new bond between the UU. This particular condition is called as trans-esterification. Means here there is a no new bond formation, only shifting of bond from UA to UU. So this is splicing by type 1 intron. Then coming to the type 2 intron. So here again there is a one intervening intron in between two of the exon that should be removed, and that will be bounded by G in one side and AG in another side. So here there is no any extra GTP is required, there is no any ATP, there is no energy bonding is required, but this intron they are automatically they are going to form a lariat structure. This round structure, this is called a lariat structure, and this is a very important objective question, that lariat forming introns is found in which type of splicing, type 1, type 2, or type 3, or any of, they will ask the question. So this is a determining feature or identifying feature of type 2 intron, that this intron they are going to form the lariat, and simply they are going to be removed out. यहाँ पे here there is no need of any of the external nucleotide, but only this intron they are automatically form the lariat, and they are going to be removed out. Then coming to the protein mediated splicing. So protein mediated splicing, that is mediated by the spliceosome. Spliceosome, they are the protein complex formed by the protein as well as the RNA. They are formed by the complex of protein and RNA. So this spliceosome, they are also called as SNRNP, small nuclear ribonucleoprotein complex. Small nuclear ribonucleoprotein complex, and in short we can call them SNRPs, SNURPs, SNRPs. So there are various types of SNRPs are involved, and they have the various roles. So here U1, U2, U4, U5 and U6, all these 5 type of nerves are involved. Now here in the diagram you can see here we have intron 1 in one side and intron 2 in the another side. In between you can see here at 5' point there is a sum of the sequence GU, AU, GU, and in between there are sequence of UAC, UAAC. This particular sequence they are called as a branch point. Now the role of two of the SNRP comes. First U1 they are going to bind at the 5' and you can see in the diagram this U1 they have bounded at the 5' end, and U2 they are going to bound at the branch point. Now after this there is a complex of U4, U5 and 6. They are again coming to bind at the 5' end, and this U2 they are already exist at the branch point. Now what happened, this after binding of this complex, U1 was replaced by the U6 and U5. Now in diagram you can see here U1 and U4 they are going to be released out, and U6 they are going to bind at the 5' position. So here again there is a release of U1 and U4. Now this U6 at 5' point and U2 at branch point, they are going to make a, again here this the loop-like structure is formed, and U5 they are make a bonding between two of the exon. So later this U5 is released, and exon 1 and exon 2 they are going to attach with each other, and this U6 and U2, they are going to form a V loop, and they are going to be released out. So this slide, what I explained now, this only is going to cover in this particular slide all these types of snobs. So these are different type of splicing in short we have covered. Now coming to the reverse transcription. So what is the meaning of reverse transcription? Transcription, as you know, that they are making the RNA copy of the DNA. But in case of reverse transcription, there is a formation of the DNA copy from the RNA with the help of enzyme reverse transcriptase. And this enzyme and the discovery of this process is only particular to, they are exclusively to some of the RNA and tumor virus. They are not present in they are not present in all the, yeah. So yeah, they are not present in all the organism, only virus and all they are going to find. So this was discovered by Temin and Baltin. Now what this virus will do? As you know that the virus, they are completely depend on the host plant. They are not using their own mechanism, but they are completely depending on the host mechanism for their application and um, for their life cycle. So when this virus RNA, they are going to enter into the host DNA. There they are using this reverse transcriptase. So in after entering into the host genome with the help of reverse transcriptase, they are going to make the DNA copy of their own RNA. And after that, those DNA, they are going to integrate into the host DNA, and then they are going to replicate with the host cell. Now, after completion of their cycle, so as you already know that is lytic and lysogenic cycle of pathogens, life cycle will be there. So after completing of their lytic cycle, they are going to break the break the cell of the host cell, and they are going to be released out after replication. So here what happens after replicating with the host DNA, they are going to translate it into their own viral RNA, and that RNA later that will be translated into the viral protein, and they are later released from the host cell. So because of using the host DNA, they are going to use this reverse transcriptase, and that's why this process of reverse transcription was discovered. Now here you can see the diagram of central dogma. So here there is a triangle of DNA. They are going to transcribe into the RNA, and RNA they are going to translate it into the protein. So here DNA, they have the ability of self-replication, and the RNA sometime only, RNA have the ability of self-replication only in sometime. Here you can see the example of RNA phages, only in some of the phages, and the RNA they have able to self-replication, otherwise it is not a thumb rule. And then this RNA, they are going to translate it into the protein. Now here this RNA, and this RNA, they are going to be reversely transcribed into the DNA, that is called a reverse transcriptase. And from DNA to the protein directly is not possible. Directly only in lab conditions, sometimes artificially that will be done, but naturally it is not done. That's why this particular direction of transfer from DNA to protein, this consists of the broken arrow, and this is called as a forbidden transfer. This is also the objective question. So this is your central dogma already given by the